you guys, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am joined by Diana from Be Empowered with Diana, and we have actually a twofold conversation for you today. One side is going to be, we're going to talk business like we normally talk and some of the strategies that Diana is using for her own business. But then we're also going to flip over to talk more to the female entrepreneur that is in midlife, like many of us, like me, like many of us, and just give some, I'm going to pick Diana's brain about some strategies that we can use to kind of feel more like ourselves on this business journey. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here as well.
Could you just kind of like kick things off and just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about the business that you're building?
Sure. So my name is Diana, which hence Be Empowered with Diana. And I am a certified menopause coach. So I help women through the midlife transition. I help them with just, first of all, making sense of it all because there's a lot of
Mhm,
information out there. Um,
mhm.
there's a lot and there's not, right? Like it's kind of like everything. So I just kind of understand what it is that's happening in their bodies and then work with them on their particular goals of what it is that they want for themselves. And everybody will be different, right? It could either be weight loss, it could be, I just want to get better sleep. Um,
Mhm.
Whatever it is that their goal is for themselves, we put together a plan to help them reach it. I help them coach them along that process. So instead of just kind of giving them something off the cuff, here's a 30-day plan, I'm there with them every step of the way.
Yeah, I noticed on your website that you have what you call the clear method. And so I'd love to know a little bit more about what that is. But then also from a business standpoint, I'm wondering if it was strategic to kind of come up with your own, sorry, to kind
That's
of come up with your own method.
Sure. Well, so the clear method is a framework and it's something that I use with all my clients. And I created it because I noticed that most women were coming to me very overwhelmed, right? They tried so many different things, nothing was really sticking. They didn't know what
Mhm.
was menopause, is this not menopause? And all these different things that they were trying.
Yeah,
So
which I can attest to because I feel like right now, as a woman in midlife, I feel like we kind of blame everything on menopause, right? Like oh, this must be menopause.
right, right, exactly, right. And a lot of it is, right? It's just
Yeah.
what's our bodies. And then some of it is just part of the aging process, right? We can't
Mhm,
necessarily blame it, or it can be something else entirely. So
mhm,
that's why it's so important to be in such close connection with your healthcare provider because just letting them know what it is, what you're feeling, how often you're feeling it, how intense, because
mhm,
else completely different, right?
mhm,
You're
That makes sense.
yeah. So the clear method is just to help um, just get clear on what it is that they need first, not so much what they want, but maybe what it is that they need. So it's getting clear and just walking them through 5 steps.
Mhm,
So C stands for clarify your menopause vision. So this is where I really spend a lot of time because some women will just be like, I need to lose those 30 pounds. And that's great. But why do you want to lose those 30 pounds? What is it? How do you want to look in the future? How do you want to feel in the future now? And
mhm,
so is it that you want to travel? Is it that you want to be able to run around and play with your grandkids? Is
mhm,
it that you want to join the walking club that's happening every year? I want to remain independent. So it's
mhm,
really drilling down into, but what is it that you want? What vision do you have for yourself?
mhm,
And that's when we go into like that lifestyle foundation assessment, which is L. So we take an honest look at to what their current life is, what's working for her now, what's not really working for her now.
mhm,
And that means we're looking at sleep. We're looking at your nutrition. We're looking at your exercise, your movement, your daily stress. We're looking at all of it to get a clear picture of what it is, what your life looks like right now. So that way we
mhm,
know how to get to what that vision or goal is for yourself.
mhm,
And the E stands for then we start establishing a custom plan. So this is where we build something that's designed for their life. So it's not like a protocol that I pulled off the internet. We can easily use ChatGPT and start, give me a 30-day exercise plan or a 30-day meal plan. You can
mhm,
do that. But they don't take into account all those other factors that we've looked into, right? Um,
Yep.
so it's creating a custom plan for them based on what their life looks like and what's doable for them. So very personalized and realistic. And then
Mhm.
we start to adapt through progressive goals. So we'll start with goal setting. Okay, let's set some goals for stress. Let's set some goals for movement. Let's set some nutrition. And we progressively add to that goal. So if we find that, you know what, this goal maybe is really, really hard for me to reach, I thought I could do it, but I just can't, we scale it back. Or if it's something, oh my God, this was so easy, right? Like I can do much more than this, then we progress it. So that's the whole idea, is that you want to continually add progression to those goals so that it becomes more sustainable in your life in a way
Mhm.
that works for your day to day. Otherwise, it just is not going to stick. And
Yeah.
then R is just for reclaim. We're going to claim that confidence itself by looking at everything that we've accomplished, tracking those improvements, tracking those wins, and celebrating them. A lot of women I speak to feel like, oh, you know what, I really wasn't able to reach those goals this week. And then as we're talking, like, but you did. Like you really did, right? So they don't realize that they are doing the things, maybe
Mhm.
not as much as they were hoping, but
We're very hard on ourselves, I think.
very hard, very hard.
Yeah.
And now any woman I speak to, I'm like, but you did. You really did do
Yeah.
those.
And
So
I'm sure that permission is, and that reinforcement from you is extremely helpful along the path.
right, exactly. Because you have your own personal cheerleader, right? You have your own personal
Mhm.
this, let's tweak that, and just yeah, to be compassionate because we're not compassionate with ourselves, you just said. So
No.
it's reclaiming it and just how do we feel better for the long term? That's kind of the whole clear method.
I love it. And then, but from a business standpoint, it's so smart for you because there are a lot of like women coaches out there, but I love that you have established your own method. And I think that likely most have a process, but putting a name to your method almost kind of, trademarks the process that you and kind of gives you that like expert status in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't start off that way. This was the process that I used to coach women. And then when I thought about it, I thought, well, but this is exactly what it is that I'm doing. And in all of my messaging, I focus on being clear and clarity. Like those are my top things. I want things to be clear. I want people to feel clarity and understanding. So
Mhm.
when I broke it down, I'm like, I wanted it for women to understand what it is that we did. So having work like that kind of just spelled it all out, what it is that they can expect, what it is that they'll be doing together and working together on. So yes, so it allows a little bit of authority in there and also
Mhm.
trust, right? Like what is it that we're doing and they can see that we're working together and it's not something I'm just handing over to them.
Yeah, I love that. One of the strategies that you also use, because the next two questions I'm going to have are about business. So, and then we'll flip over and you can give us some advice that we're all going to take and use as women in midlife. But one of the strategies that you use in order to kind of bring clients in is personal calls, one-on-one calls. Have you tried a bunch of different ways? Have you found that that is the best way to, I don't know what the right word is. I don't mean hook people, but you know what I mean. Like actually bring them into your world and make sure that they feel comfortable knowing that you're going to help them.
Right. You know what? It's actually one of the most valuable things that I do for several reasons. So one of them is that I know women are we're not impulsive buyers now. Like I think we're used to like that Amazon scroll for sure, impulsive that way.
Especially when it comes to things to do with buying something for ourselves and
Yeah.
buying something that maybe doesn't like wouldn't make sense to everybody else, like our spouses or some of our friends kind of thing.
Right. But when it comes to things like our health, let's just say we're not impulsive that way. We're very tight with our money. We're like, no, 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 I can do it on my own, right? We very much
Mhm.
want our own. And so when a woman is feeling dismissed by their doctor or they're seeing all this conflicting information, there are health
Mhm.
professionals out there and they're giving advice, whether it's accurate or not. It's
Mhm.
really hard to kind of decipher all of that.
Mhm.
So
There's a lot of noise.
it's a lot of noise. So when I have those calls, it allows me to make things a little bit more clear for them.
Mhm.
allows me to connect with them. I'm very much into understanding where that woman is coming from, what their life
Mhm.
is like, what, how things are sitting with them, what is difficult for them, and just really leading with compassion and empathy and understanding and listening. Because when you're so used to being dismissed,
Mhm.
it's refreshing, right? To have someone to actually talk to and understand what it is that they're saying, what they're going through. So for
Mhm.
me, that connection is very, very important. It also allows me to share what it is that I do and what it is that I don't do. It also allows
Mhm.
me to ask questions. So if I was
Mhm.
just an online program, you really can't really ask many questions. It's you're either going to buy the program or you're not going to buy the program.
Mhm.
Kind of gives them an opportunity to, are we a good fit? Right.
Yeah.
And
Have you ever turned anyone down?
I haven't, but I probably should have. And I think that's something also that I've learned as well along the way, because I think
Mhm.
start, you're like, no, no, I'll take anybody. Like I'll do it all.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah, and that call should be not only for them but for you as well.
exactly, exactly. So, and I wasn't doing that. It was just, okay, yeah, yeah, I can help you. I'll give you everything and anything.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, woman.
right. And, but I've been doing it. I can tell, like, are you in it or are you not?
Mhm.
Right. And
Are you looking for a quick fix and you're not really dedicated, or do you want me to just tell you what you want to hear? I'm sure there's a lot of times.
yes, exactly. So a lot of them will look for that quick fix, right? And I'm like, that's not what this is. So
Hmm.
it's, yeah, understanding on both our parts. So I really, number one, it's for them to also understand that,
Hmm.
yes, what you're going through, I understand it. I'm here to help support you in any way I can. I think that connection and relationship building is very important, especially if we're going to be working together week to week.
Yeah, I would imagine that that relationship needs to be very comfortable and open.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing that I feel that I'm good at. People tell me is that listening and that empathy and just being
Yeah,
there to
you are just one of those people that the second you meet you, you have that energy about you, like
yeah.
very natural.
I-
And I think it's just because you really are a genuine person.
absolutely. Anything, and this is where the empowerment piece came up because always how do I empower women to feel better about themselves, to feel like, yes, I can do this? I think we just do all the things, but do we need to be doing all the things? It's more about empowering yourself to do what it is that you need for once and not so
Hmm.
worrying about everybody else all the time.
Yeah.
So I really want women to feel that empowerment because I was that, that type A personality or that controlling. I needed to know, do all the things.
Mhm.
And when I look back at it, I'm like, wow, was I an enabler or what? Like,
Yeah.
I guess,
Sometimes we're all our own worst enemies, right? Like there are a lot of times where I put my own expectations on myself and my husband has is not does not expect any of that from me.
yeah, you're absolutely right. It's things that we do ourselves, I think, to ourselves. So I got
Yeah.
nobody. But so that's the whole idea behind empowerment, right? It's just empowering yourself to start putting yourself first.
I love that. And so the last thing from a business standpoint, and I don't even know that you've necessarily dove full on into this strategy, but what I noticed about your website and I think is an amazing strategy for you, especially as a service provider, someone that needs to establish expertise and knowledge, is that you have a blog attached to your website, and that can also be really good for searchability and coming up in all the things. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the blog is really just an extension of the same thing that I do in all of my content. So
Mhm.
it's just to provide that clear, that evidence based, that practical information so that they don't feel as confused and they just start to feel more control of their health. So a lot of the content, so from a business standpoint, a lot of the content is you'll find it on my Instagram and I'll
Mhm.
but if someone wants a little bit more information, then I can direct them to that blog or
Yeah.
if you want
I
even
would imagine it's very helpful if you're in conversation with people to have a resource that you can then send them a link to. It was actually why I started the very first podcast I ever did 7 years ago, was because I felt like I was having the same conversations over and over and over again, and it was my way to share.
yeah, that's a great strategy, actually, right? It was a way of to kind of get people back there and
Hmm.
writing it on my posts. It's just if you want more information about this topic, I do dive deeper into it. And
Hmm.
it's also it's content that, so like you said, it's conversations that I have with women that kept coming over and over again. It's like, okay, let me provide something that's clear and practical for them to refer to, um, so that they can always go back to. And then if they want, they can also sign up for my newsletter where I dive,
Mhm.
right? So it's
Mhm.
kind of different levels depending on what kind of information you want. And it allows that, put that credibility behind it all too. And
Are
just
you
connect.
ever worried you'll give away too much information that they won't want to work with you one on one? I feel like I hear this a lot from clients.
Yes, I have, and that's something I'm trying to work on because I feel like I just want to
It's
give
a,
them.
it's a balance, but I have to imagine that working with you, it yes, they get the knowledge and all of that, but it's how they apply themselves with that knowledge. That's the magic you probably bring.
Right, exactly. So it's how do we put it all together, right?
Yeah.
Like easily grab information about this. Oh, that looks really good. Yeah, I'm going to start doing that. But then when you look at everything, it becomes very overwhelming. And it's how do we put it all together so that it makes,
Mhm.
because it can be very, very overwhelming. So
It can be. And we used to live like social media and all of that used to be an information era. And now it's shifting a little bit and we're more into like the grab information or whatever. But I imagine I once was told by a mentor, you can never give away too much for free. And I always kind of come back to that. Like I think at the end of the day, I will say things in containers, coaching containers or whatever, that I could never say in a post, meaning because it's so directed, it's so personalized, and so strategic for an individual. And I would think that that would be similar for you as well.
it is. And I get a lot of questions, and it's always, I can't sleep at night. Why do I keep waking up? Fix this. Like, what is it that I need to do?
Right. And your post might say five different reasons, but
Yeah,
working with you, you can actually look specifically at a lifestyle and give
yeah,
strategies.
exactly, exactly. I can't give you a quick answer like this because yeah, it could be any one of these things, but it could be a lot more other things too, right?
Yeah.
So not a quick answer always, and exactly, I can work with them through each of those things. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to flip over to the other side. I know working with you one on one is the best way for anyone who's listening to this and knows this is something that they want to explore further. But I was just kind of hoping that you could give us some tips, like women, midlife entrepreneurs. Are there any ways that you could help us just kind of support ourselves in better ways daily?
Absolutely. And I think for any women, especially at this age, we tend to push ourselves a lot more. So, especially with entrepreneurs, you feel like I can't slow down because my business now relies on me being on all the time, right?
And many of us are doing this on the side of also working part-time or full-time and also parenting and doing all of that too.
Exactly. So we're putting a lot on us, right? The stakes are really,
Mhm.
high. We really want this to work and we really don't feel like we can kind of just step away from it. But when we're during this menopause stage, all that extra stress, it
Mhm.
makes those symptoms, it just exacerbates it even more. So
Mhm.
um, things that I would suggest is firstly is noticing where your peak energy window is. So
Mhm.
we fluctuate a lot during the menopause stage, right? We don't know when we're going to be ready to go. Other times we're exhausted and we're just fatigued.
It is the most challenging element of being a female. Like I look at my husband and he wakes up and he is even keel every single day, right? Like I am a roller coaster.
Yes, right. And you just don't know. I'm like, today it might be this, today I don't know. Tomorrow I might have tons of, right? So it's, and we're used to this. Our cycles have always been that way. So we're used to, but we're also very much used to pushing through it,
Mhm.
right? And just ignoring it. So what I would suggest is identifying like where your peak energy window is and like protect it fiercely. So because it's not consistent, finding what times of the day where you have the most energy. And usually
Mhm.
for women, it's that mid morning, they've gotten up and they've got the energy. So that would be the time where maybe you're focusing on the creative aspects of your business or things that
Mhm.
get done and require that mental energy, not so much the emails or the text messages or any of those pieces, right? Those
Like
administrative.
the things that are actually going to move your business forward.
Exactly, right? So that's where you're going to focus your time
Mhm.
and have those peak energy moments. And then something else I would suggest is reducing decision fatigue wherever you can. And I just posted
Mhm.
about something like this recently, and
Mhm.
all the little things that take away from our energy without even realizing that we're doing it, because we take care of so many things in a day without even realizing how many decisions we're making. If you were to,
It's wild,
what?
just the mental capacity that it takes on a day-to-day basis to run a family.
Yeah, exactly. So all of these little decisions is trying to find default systems so that we're not constantly having to make decisions. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like when you're driving in a car and you just do automatic because you know this is the route to work and that's the way I always go. Well, this is the same in terms of reducing that decision fatigue. Like have things that are ready to go that you just normally do that you don't have to think about, just to make
Mhm.
it easier. And so that could be like maybe I'm meal prepping my breakfast for the whole week. So
Mhm.
I just grab it, I go, and I'm good to go. You know, and it could be something as setting my clothes the night before. I always make sure I have that already so I don't have to think about it in the morning and be like,
Mhm.
oh, what do I do today? Right. And just it's ready to go, one less thing.
Well, one thing I did was, have you seen those skylight calendars?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I got one of those because I was tired of answering the question, what's tonight?
Yeah.
And like my husband has the app on his phone. So my new answer is, I don't know. And I do know. I always know. But you know what? Go press the little button on that calendar and see for yourself. And honestly, like it feels like such a small thing, but not answering that question 5 times a day is
Mhm.
huge for me. And it took a long time, a lot of me saying, I don't know, go check the calendar. I don't know, go check the calendar. But they are starting to do it on their own now.
I love that. That's actually a really good strategy. Maybe I need to get one of those because
It also has really like it has all the pictures, so it's like an electronic frame as well, which I love.
oh, you know what? I should get one of those. Yes, because that is like you're saying, it's something so small, but it's that nagging, like, oh my God, they're asking me again.
Mhm.
And I can't right now. Right?
Yeah, and I might murder you if you ask me one more time. So,
Exactly. Especially during the stage where our moods are already up and down. It can be that little thing that's just going to send us over the edge. So, yeah, it's definitely finding those default systems to reduce
contract.
needed. And one other thing that I would suggest is taking sleep very seriously, but
Mhm.
like business strategy. So again, we're used to pushing through and
Mhm.
sleep later. I need to get all of these things done because they need to get done. I'll get to sleep when I get to sleep. But from a business standpoint, we already know that our energy is tapped hormonally to begin with, right? So if we're not getting that sleep, we're not as clear the next day. We're having that brain fog even more. Those hot flashes start kicking up. We're not
Mhm.
we're not clear and focused at all, and we're just exhausted. And on
Mhm.
top of that, I don't know if you've ever noticed, if you haven't had a good night's sleep, you're actually hungrier the next day.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense, actually.
So the whole biology behind it is just, yeah, it's kicking in those hunger hormones when we don't get enough sleep, so that the next day now you're hungrier. And so when we're hungrier, what do we start going for? Those carbs, snacks, those
All the
processed.
stuff that makes you feel even crappier.
Exactly, right? So now we've tanked our energy even more. So, or hitting the coffee, and now we get that wired and tired feeling.
Mhm.
It,
Mhm.
so it's protecting that sleep because it affects so many other areas of our business, and we just can't. We're not as productive anymore as maybe we were before, and we're able to do it, right?
How
Yeah.
much sleep do we truly need?
You know what? It's actually very individualized. So you'll
Mhm.
see like 7 to 9 hours um,
Mhm.
is, that general standard is what they say. But
Mhm.
from what I'm learning from the research, it's actually also very individualized. Some people, 7 is not enough and they might need that 9 or 10. Or for some,
I feel like I need a lot. I always compare myself to a toddler. Like ever since I had my car accident, my brain injury, I feel like I need at least 8 to 9 hours.
right. And so that would be ideal for you, right? Whereas someone else might be like, you know what, I'm actually great at 6 and I'm functioning great. So it's
Mm,
really
I
dependent on
wish.
that.
That would be amazing. It would give me hours back in my day.
So it's very individualized. I'm not going to say go have 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but it's how am I feeling, how productive I am in my day
Mhm.
afterwards, refreshed, am I not waking up refreshed? So yes, we'd like to go for that 7 to 9 hours, but it is also very individualized as to what that person would need. So you based on how it is that you're feeling.
Mhm. D- Is it true? Like, because I feel like I don't manage stress the same way that I did 10 years ago. Like, I was never someone that even felt stressed, to be honest. And I had a very, high impact jobs along the years. And now I find that I don't manage stress as well. I feel it in my body in a much deeper way.
Yes, and that is all the hormonal shifts happening as well too. So it does affect our resiliency, how we handle stress, how much we can handle, and that's why those decision fatigue or those little systems are also very important because we can't manage the load that we used to. We're
Mhm.
enough sleep, where the brain fog is kicking in, and it's already hard enough to deal with what's happening to us from the top of our head down to our toes, that adding more things is not going to help us. So it's
Do you
looking at,
think this is why people used to have babies when they were 20? Because then by the time they hit perimenopause, they didn't have young kids and these crazy calendars and
yeah,
schedules?
yeah. What I don't think I would be able to do it now. Just, but yeah, because I know how I feel if I've only had a few hours of sleep, and if I were doing it now, no, I don't think things
I
would
know.
not would not be good. But
Exactly.
our
Oh, thank you for this. This has been amazing.
yeah, yeah, I know. I used to be one that used to put, things together, parties, like just I can whip them up in 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. It's stress, no stress, no stress. And then I was like, oh my God, no, now I'm having nightmares. Did I forget the fruit platter? It's did I
I
forget
know about the silliest things too. And
this?
sometimes I'm finding now I'm just letting things go. I'm not doing that, or I'm just like, it doesn't need to be this. And that's helping a lot too for me.
Yes, I've lowered the standards and it's
Mhm.
not a big deal. It's focusing on what it is really important for me.
Mhm.
That's not it. Like making sure that everything is perfect is just not it anymore, right? So it's being easier on ourselves a little bit more because we are less resilient. Things hit harder for us, and
Does it come back? Like, do we get some of this back in like the net, like once we cross over the menopause line?
yes. So it doesn't come back right away. So some women will start to feel better. Some
Mhm.
take them a few years, like those hot flashes might still be there, or the brain fog is still there. So it needs a few years to kind of adjust. Um, some women still feel actually worse, and some feel better.
Because I think my mom's a superhero again, like still. So
Everyone's so individualized. It really is. Everyone is so different, has a different experience. But yes, the brain fog will lift and you'll feel a little bit more clearer. It just might take a few years before you get there. Yeah,
amazing. Maybe that's why there's many millionaires that hit millionaires after 50.
right? There's
Mhm.
something said
I'll
about that.
aim for that. I'll aim for that.
Yeah, we're at that stage where we're getting rid of what doesn't matter. This is our goal. This is our vision,
Shedding all of that.
right? Absolutely. That's why it's an empowering time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Diana, where can people find you if they want to learn more, they want to grab one of your one-on-one calls?
Sure. They can find me on Instagram at beempowered_with Diana, or they can check me out on my website at dianaempowered.ca.
Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this with me today. This was hugely helpful.
Thank you. I always love chatting with you.